since your little promo was like the best or top view clip on the Clip channel, just so
Which
you know,
one?
your promo for the Bakersfield was the top view clip on our Clips channel.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I told you go look at it. You never did.
I did look at it. I said thank you. I said I didn't have time to really talk to you about it because I got so busy.
But
Right,
um,
right.
but since I got you on the podcast, why don't you tell us about the show? How was it, man?
The show.
Yeah, the days you were
Um,
there, like did it do well? How was it? Was it fun? Did you get to see the show? How did the booth go? Did your sales go
it
well?
was um it was fun. I'll say that. I got to meet a lot of people, so that was good.
Come on, man, give us details, man. You just kind of go and get into it.
Um, I had an art booth at the Collector Con. To Collector Con is kind of like a Comic Con, but for people like what we've been talking about, for people like us who are into collecting toys and amiibos and figures and Funko Pops and everything of that nature, and all that stuff was there. So you know, it was that's what it was, and I had my booth there, and the way I set it up was I had a few of my collectible figures out, but I wasn't selling any figures. I did have a few custom figures that I did of some Kid Robot monies. I did a few custom paint jobs on those, but outside of that, I was mostly just selling art pieces, art prints, and I had a few original pieces. And so what I did was I took my original piece that I did of what is his name of my original piece that I did of hold on, I'm missing the case. Here we go. The original piece I did of Leatherface. If for people who don't know who Leatherface is, that's the guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The villain in Texas Chainsaw Massacre is known as Leatherface. So I went over to him. Well, he came to me and was talking about my piece, and I said, "You're gonna sign it for me," and he agreed. And so he signed my piece. I got an official signature. I took a picture of him. You can see it on my Instagram. I took a picture of I think it's on. And you know what? I might have to make it into a post. So don't quote me on that because I might just put it on my story. But I took a picture of him after he signed it, and he was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, the original, the OG one, not none of not the newer ones, but he was in the old OG one. So he's the the one of the OG originals for you horror fans. But yeah, that's where I had him sign it, and shoot, man, it was dope. He's a really cool, nice dude. What's crazy is I met his wife too. She's really super dope. And when I went to get it signed, he was selling signatures, so I didn't want to just. It seemed like he was just going to sign it without paying him, but I didn't want to assume that. So I came over there with my money, and his wife gave me a discount, saying, because I'm a booth or whatever. And then she said, "Well, you want me to make it out to your name?" And she was having make it out to her name, so she asked my name and everything like that. Crazy thing is, he heard her, but he ignored her. He just wrote his name on it, and then when he handed it to me, he said, "Go make some money." You
Wow.
know. So he cool dude, he like check this out, he boosted the value of my art piece, and he's like, nah, dude, you out there selling your art, trying to do your thing, and I had like a little small booth, and I was next to this guy who was probably had a ton of more followers than me. He matter of fact, he purchased two booths and had them put together, so he had this huge booth next to me, but I still held my own next to him.
Nice.
I still held my own. Still, I didn't fold. No, back in the day, I feel like I'm in a better place because back in the day, I probably would have I probably would have been so intimidated. You know, I probably would have been, oh man, I would have been tripping. I would have been tripping about, I like talking about the journey because, I think that's just as important. And I'm in a better place now to where when this guy was there, I just kept spitting my mouthpiece and kept going. And my wife was telling me, "Oh, he was doing this and he was doing that." It's like I didn't know what he was doing. You know, I didn't know not a damn thing. He was doing. And she was like, "Oh, he offered you an art piece and he didn't want to take one of yours. That was shade." I'm like, I wasn't even paying attention to that. Like I was like, all right, cool, whatever, moving on. Like I'm just doing me, and what I try to do is I try to build a connection with people because that's what's gonna make connections is what's gonna make things sell. You can always draw some copywritten material and do it in your own unique way. And 9 times out of 10, you'll probably sell some form of it if you put it on a t-shirt or whatever the case may be. But when you're doing original pieces, people have to be connected to you because to them, original piece, it just looks like generic. It looks like Payless. It looks like Walmart. Even if it's good, you could go into a Ross and get a Dragon Ball Z 24 by 36 in frame for $10, $15. So what's gonna make this guy want to buy a original sketch for me that has of a drawing that has no sentimental value to him whatsoever?
Right.
So I have to learn how to sell myself. You when you come to my booth, you get to know me. You get to know who I am as an artist. You get to learn about some of my art pieces and some of the styles and some of the ventures I'm trying to do. So I never actually sell anything. I talk to them, and if they buy something, cool, you know. But that's what I try to offer. But supposed to before, I never, since nobody have to pay me to do what I do, it's like it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different feeling. If I break even, I'm okay. Supposed to I break even and now I'm in chronic depression.
Yeah.
So it goes pretty deep. But also another highlight is there's a social media figure called Twisted Pennywise. And he's done videos with Terry Crew and Jason Derulo and a few other people. Very popular. You might have seen one of his videos he did with Terry Crew where he was like an Uber driver, and when Terry Crew got in the car, he started singing "Making My Way Down Past" but Pennywise, and he sounds like Pennywise and he looks like Pennywise. He does a really good Pennywise. So a lookalike. So that's why he's called himself Twisted Pennywise, and he do these little viral videos or whatever the case may be. But he was there, and so I actually, I got into grind mode. I after event, because the event lasted 2 days, I sat up all night at my other job. And normally, eventually I have to take a power nap or something, because naturally working all those hours, you'll try to get 30 minutes to an hour in here and there, so you could be 100% when you go to the next place, right?
Right.
So, but I was engaged, and I'm like, it's the last day, so I stayed up all night drawing, and it wasn't no small drawing. I'm talking this drawing is probably maybe like an 18 by 24. Size, ink drawing, stippling, which is the dots. Now I do a combination of the stippling and I add some line work in afterwards. So I sat up there and I drew, and I made it. I drew him, and I also made sure to make it personal to him, which I added some social media logos and different things of that nature on there to show that this is the Pennywise from social media and not from the movie. I wanted to be specific, you know. So boom, so I wasn't quite finished. I was kind of upset, but I didn't let that deteriorate me either. So at my booth, I went ahead and sat in front of my booth and I finished the drawing to draw more people to my booth. So everybody's looking at me drawing this big piece of Pennywise. Once the piece was done, I went over to his booth and had him sign it. Cool dude, you know. But that's another sign. But that's another sign piece that I have. And guess what? Halloween is coming up. So that's 2 Halloween figures that I have, 2 high value pieces that I have that I can put on display to whatever event. I don't even know what event I'm going to be at, but whatever event comes my way, I already have 2 high value pieces already, and that's cool to me. That makes me
nice.
Feel right, you know. So since G want me to go into detail, that's the detail for your ass.
Hey man, that's called a podcast, man. Gotta give people the content that they want to hear.